Welcome to Lima Forensic Case Management's Cases module. In this video, we'll be showing you how to add contemporaneous notes. Contemporaneous notes add a wealth of advantages to the user's organisation, allowing full disclosure of the examination, examination's activities, and activities surrounding each case. Perfect for tracking billable hours, utilisation levels of staff, and company assets, as well as providing full transparency should a query come up in the future. So let's begin. Once you have opened the relevant case, you will find yourself at the case overview. Navigate to the top of the screen and select the Timeline tab. This will take us to our timeline summary page. There are a number of options for adding contemporaneous notes. For this instance, we'll be selecting the New Entry button at the top left of the screen. Consistent with other areas of the Lima Forensic Case Management System, this button will begin the Timeline Entry wizard, built for comprehensive note-taking and task tracking. The first point of interest is designating the time and date of the timeline entry. Naturally, the system will default on the current date and time for ease. However, you can simply use the drop-down menus to designate a desired date and time. Alternatively, you can use the planner view. We will be designating the end date and time towards the conclusion of this video. The actual date and time the timeline entry was created will be added to the audit log for full transparency, but this will be covered in a separate video. Now it is important to designate the process type related to the timeline entry. A number of default process types are available based on the traditional digital forensic organisational processes, such as evidence logging, imaging and analysis, and submitting processes. As with large sections of Lima, these are customisable within the Lima administrator should you require it. Select your staff member using the Staff submenu. Search, select, and allocate the staff member by clicking Confirm. Now enter the particular event that is occurring, which would form the basis for the timeline entry. For this example, the user is noting documentation uploads. Here we have a unique feature within Lima. The user can designate the assets used during this particular process. Just like assigning a member of staff, an assets submenu is used to filter, search, select, and allocate an asset used. This feature is perfect in forming the basis for the asset utilisation report at a later time. If your timeline entry is concerning a particular evidence piece, this is simply assigned in the same fashion. Open the Evidence submenu, search, select, and allocate the evidential device to the entry by clicking Confirm. For this example, we'll be using the evidential device created in our Adding Evidence video, KPG/1. Finally, attach any relevant documents to the entry, and add a description, as well as choosing whether to include the submission details and reports. We are then going to specify the end time and date, and the time spent on the associated activity. These can be manually dictated using the arrow buttons available, or even outlined automatically using the autofill function. This draws the time spent on any particular timeline entry and fills the box with the result. This is why we have chosen to enter this at the end of the timeline entry process. Click Confirm to approve your timeline entry. Should the time spent on the entry differ from that manually entered, Lima will provide a notification for the user to confirm this choice. Click OK to confirm this. As you can see, the timeline entry has been created, and a summary available as an overview. This is just one way of entering contemporaneous notes and timeline entries. The Lima Cases module features a quick access timer in the lower right of the module. As you can see, the relevant case number is viewable here. You can amend any notes in an ongoing task, pause and continue the task where required, and once the task is completed, click the Stop button to be automatically taken to the Timeline Entry wizard, already populated with the start and end dates, time spent on the task, and recorded notes. Complete and amend the entry as before, and click Confirm. And that's it, you have begun creating contemporaneous notes within your cases. Whether you have a single user conducting digital forensic work, a fully functioning multi-user laboratory, or work across an entire enterprise, each one of our Lima systems is built to tackle your unique requirements. Every one of our Lima systems is an information management system, an evidence tracking system, and an advanced reporting tool. designed to drive communication and cost efficiency throughout the user's organisation, and assist compliance with international standards, as well as many other advantages we wish we had time to go through in this video.